Today we're going to talk about the difference between the medical breakthroughs that we are seeing now, the more rudimentary type med bed or medical that will be just able to maintain health. And then we're going to talk about the med beds that have to do with the fifth density and the fifth dimension. The dimension is very important because they are interactive with consciousness. Okay, so let's get into some of the things that are happening right now. Right now, we've seen a lot of disclosure about teeth and regrowing teeth. And there is a bud of teeth, like a regrowth opportunity in everybody's mouth underneath an adult tooth. So in Japan, they're having trials right now, and they're using stem cells and other things, different proteins, to encourage that tooth bud to grow into another tooth. So eventually, dentures would not be a thing. And I'm sure there will be very easy ways to stimulate that in the future. There are more detection of cancers coming in. And they've actually admitted that cancers have to do with parasites. So you won't find that in a lot of places, but you can find it. There is gene editing therapies that have been introduced. Now, when it comes to peptides, which a lot of that has to do with gene editing, I believe, I would not do that unless there was a rare genetic disorder. And that's my opinion, and I'm not a doctor. There is also age reversal that is going on. And they're studying this in mice, I believe, at the moment. And that has to do with a certain nutrient. There are drugs that have come out for Alzheimer's disease. There's different weight loss things, but I feel like they're more negative than positive. In my opinion, in the current medical system, the natural systems are ahead when it comes to any kind of chronic disease. So keep that in mind. Ultraviolet light has been introduced. And I think that was by Trump. But also, it's been introduced as a therapy. Frequencies have been introduced. Now, if you Google them or ask ChatGPT, they will say it's quackery. But remember, we're not completely out of the 3D construct of thinking at this point. They've come up with therapies to send certain frequencies to cancer. They've shown tremendous, success, I would call it, with certain things like garlic and oregano oil. So the natural is seeping back in. It's seeping back into the whole process of true health. So, what is coming? All you have to really do is watch a sci-fi movie to get an idea of what is coming. So in Star Trek, They had things called tricorders that would scan and see what was going on in the body. They have beams that they can shoot at the body. They're able to get rid of toxins right away. They can work through clothes and sometimes walls. So that means frequency. There's real-time vital tracking. So biobeds that track the vital signs of the heart, brain, and cellular activity. There's an auto alert system for changes. There's neural imaging, and they can read brain activity and memory. And it detects neurological disorders instantly. So that comes from Star Trek. And that is technology from my higher self. That information is completely relevant and real right now. So those things are what I would consider more of a rudimentary medbed. Those things will come in very fast. And there's going to be a lot of different things that come in with that. So let's talk about those. Regeneration and tissue repair. So dermal regenerators to heal wounds in seconds. Broken bones repaired rapidly. And organs can be stabilized or regrown. So that is getting into more of the 5D. Now, also advanced pharmaceuticals. What will they actually be like? I don't think they'll contain petroleum like the ones we have now. They'll be able to counteract poison and also give rapid anesthesia and revival drugs. So it's going to be completely different as we continue to morph into 5D. And I'm talking about the fifth dimensional consciousness, which allows for much faster things to happen. So brain surgery, it will not be the archaic surgery that we see now. It will be done probably without even opening up the skull. So, done with lasers, done with light, all of that kind of thing. Organ replacements. And those are more 3D. So, when you get into the 5D, you're talking about limbs regrowing themselves. That's a pretty big deal. And also anti-aging back to whatever age you wish to be biologically, and changing your body shape. So say you wanted to lose 30 pounds or you wanted to grow 2 inches taller. Those are 5D, fifth dimensional ET technology. So why is that? Because you have to believe that it's possible. So the further you get into the fifth dimension with your consciousness, the easier it is for those things to happen. Okay. There will be cellular generation, cellular regeneration, DNA repair, and then also a lot of mental and consciousness trauma release, things like that. They'll start here and now with different substances like psychedelic mushrooms, ibogaine, ayahuasca. Ayahuasca's kind of rough on people, but those kind of things are being made mainstream right now. So that's going to help the population release more and more trauma, which means they will get into the fifth dimension faster and faster. Okay, so once you finish with the Star Trek era, once humanity finishes with that, and that's going to do most of the things that people have been asking for. Even a lot of the things that are being discovered right now are going to help people tremendously. So, what about the fifth dimensional healing? What is that going to look like? That's going to look like magic to some. The technology is here now, but there's very few that are ready to receive it unless they've been knocked out, put to sleep, and their ego is quiet. Now, for some, that might be necessary right now, and for some, they may say yes. For the majority of the population, they're not going to be ready for it. And we have to be okay with that. Now, many of this audience will be ready for the fifth dimensional healing probably very quickly, because you've been doing a lot of work and you've been letting go of a lot of trauma and you've been healing your parallel lifetimes. So the more of that you do, the more aware you are that we are consciousness first. And when you're consciousness first, you realize that you're a magical being and that anything is possible. You could create an entire new body for yourself if you really wanted to, in a very fast way. So eventually we will be our own medbed. But with the fifth dimensional medbeds, you will see everything in a more advanced way. So, instant healing and really beautiful results that are so organic. So let's say that you got in there and you decided to regrow a limb, and you decided that you wanted to be a beautiful athlete, and you wanted to have the absolute optimum of your appearance, your health, and the way that you moved around in the world. So that's what you would get. If you believe it, then you can create it in a 5D medbed. So there's stages that are going to be like happening for everyone. And I do think that people will get into better and better medbeds as they go, because they will release more and more trauma. And genetic diseases will no longer exist because we won't want them. So think about that when you think about the medbed. What are you actually ready to receive for your body? And know that the collective in general, may not be ready for everything that you are ready for. There will be pretty distinct timeline separations in those that are ascending. Right now, this year, the people who have decided not to ascend in their body, they're actually getting ready to leave and ascend without their body. But these holographic beds, and everything is a hologram, so keep that in mind. They will become more and more advanced and more almost sentient as we go through this process. So, if you are someone that is afraid of AI, then you'll probably be starting with something that's more rudimentary until you can let go of that fear. But regeneration is definitely something that's going to happen for people. And a lot of it has begun already. So for me, I use a LifeWave patch, and it's on my website. That is stem cell therapy. It's using your own light, your own body's light, to create more stem cells in your body. And the LifeWave water machine is doing the same in a lot bigger way. I've definitely felt a big detox from that. Free energy is getting ready to come out. It's kind of all over the place right now. Replicators will probably be one of the things that are a little bit slower. I don't think everybody will have one like a microwave in their house immediately. We have to remember that the collective is part of the deciding factor. However, we are all using different things, unconventional things, like frequencies and electric culture and copper forms that are for the body. So all kinds of different things, we're using them now. And that's going to keep advancing to the point where we have crystals in our walls and we have frequencies all over the place that we're using for the good of our bodies and for the good of our minds as well. So think about all the things that you can imagine. Watch some sci-fi movies. Star Trek is great. Star Wars, I don't remember if they have a whole lot of medical stuff in that, but look for science fiction. Stargate, the very first movie, it had a med bed in it. It restored the body. So when you think about all those things, know that they will advance very quickly to whatever comfort zone humanity can handle. Humanity already knows about cloning. Humanity's heard about cloning organs already, or growing organs, growing meat. So a lot of things will happen very quick. But when it comes to changing your entire appearance, that may take a while. So think about that. Everything is happening in stages right now. So worrying about your health, start taking care of it now. And soon the next step will show up that's going to help you tremendously. And know that in your heart And that's what's going to help bring everything in. Relaxing about it helps it show up. So usually when we're manifesting something, the moment you let go and you relax, the universe will begin to bring it in. And the med beds have been hidden technology for a very long time. And we will see them. And I do believe that a lot of that technology, at least at the more rudimentary level, will be introduced pretty much as the RV happens. So once we get into arrests, and then we get into the money system switching over, then the med bed situation will start to materialize. And it's going to be up to people whether they're ready for some of that or not. And then eventually the medical system will be shifting tremendously. So anyway, I hope this helps. And if you have people that have questions, just share this with them, please. And it's not something I can talk about on YouTube at this point. So I would like you to save this video if you can and share it around so that I don't have to do another one. All right. Love you guys. Bye. Do you ever wonder who we are and why we are here? Why is this lifetime so unique? Who is God? How do the universe and the multiverse work? What is it like? Why did we come here? Why are we incarnated on Earth? Who soul groups are? What about the Akashic records? What about life and death? What about the fall of Earth and the cosmic turning point that we're in? What about the fifth density and the fifth dimension? You can find all of it in my book on Amazon by Honey C. Golden, The Old Soul's Guide to the Universe.